from your point of view? Could you just maybe walk us through the last 14, 18 hours?
Yeah, so certainly it's been a pretty traumatic 14 hours for us here in Niagara. We're all very shaken up, and obviously our hearts and thoughts and prayers are with Tucker and his family. Again, a type of injury like this is something you never want to see in our game. So it's something as a group that we're all working towards. We spent the night with Tucker and his mom and the Billet family at the hospital last night, and certainly has been a trying day for us, but certainly, the worst is behind us, and we're looking forward to working together and moving forward here.
What can you tell us about his current condition?
So he's stable now, thankfully. It's no longer considered life-threatening, which obviously is by far the most important thing. So at this point, the femoral artery was not severed, thankfully, which is great news. And really at this point, the quad muscle was completely torn apart and ripped through by the skate blade. So certainly it will be, a significant recovery process. But from our end, the important thing is that we're out of the dark. The worst is behind us, and we no longer consider it life-threatening, which, thank God.
Sure. How did the team take it, Joey? Like, what was the reaction? Because I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, and again, neither have I. Certainly the players were extremely shaken up. And even today, we held a meeting with the guys this morning, and a lot of tears, a lot of jitters. It's something, we're all brothers. We're a big family, not only in Niagara, but league-wide. And you see really the entire hockey community, how close-knit it is. It rattled the guys, and it really has affected us all. Even myself, I'm shaken up by it today still. So it's something as a group, we need to have that family dynamic and work together, going forward. But certainly, we all need to step back and we realize that, there's a lot of things quite more important than hockey, and obviously this is one of those. And the guys really are banding together to get through this as a group.
Sure. Any idea how long he's going to be in the hospital or anything like that?
So at least another day. I know he'll be on the IV. They told us last night 48 hours, so we imagine, we'll get more updates this afternoon. But he'll be, in the hospital at least until tomorrow.
For sure.
Any chance that might be a long shot of him returning this season?
Yep, there's always a chance, and certainly if there's one guy, in the world that can return from something like this, it would be Tucker Tynan. I mean, he's an absolute warrior and a champion. He's got, the heart of a lion. So we're hopeful. Obviously, right now, the important thing is that the injuries are no longer considered life-threatening. He's stable. The surgery went well. So our focus is just on, getting him, healthy and feeling good. But certainly there's no rush, and if he's out for the duration of the season, in the effort to get him better, then that's the most important thing.
Sure, yeah. Unfortunately, the hockey world goes on, even when something like this happens. What are you going to do as far as, because it's a goalie, you need to make an immediate reaction to this, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So certainly Spragues will be our guy going forward. We've got Josh Rosawig playing in Welland. He'll come up and back up for us, in the immediate future. And then certainly once we know more on the extent, and the time frame with Tucker, we'll act accordingly at that point. But certainly right now, Christian Spraglia and Josh Rosawig will be our guys.
For sure, yeah.
Specifically, where exactly did the laceration occur, like on the quad?
Yeah, so it was right on the quad muscle, and it's funny, it's difficult really to narrow it down because what we were told by the doctors is that it's sliced through all four parts of the quad muscle. So really there's not one specific area. It literally shredded the entire muscle. So it's certainly not, not optimistic-wise, that way, unfortunately.
I know the game's making strides to enhance equipment and things like that. There's, some goalies have some vulnerable spots, but I mean, how are we seeing some? Has there been strides to find better technology? I'm not saying it's specific for Tucker's case, but just in general for goalies, do you feel that the technology is getting better?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is, and I think year by year, situations like this are really what increases that protection. And certainly, no one is better equipped and better protected than the goaltenders are. But it's the nature of our game that these skate blades are sharp, and these guys move fast, and every year the game gets faster, and the guys play harder, and it's just an unfortunate, obviously, casualty in a completely innocent hockey play, that just resulted and is extremely dangerous at times. But certainly, I think the equipment and the safety is trending in the right direction, and I'm sure, you know, it will continue to do so that way.
Do you know what goalies are wearing nowadays, at least specifically in the O or specifically on this team, how they're protecting? I know nothing is ever 100% guaranteed, but what are they using today?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything. I mean, you know, literally from head to toe, everything is covered. You know, so it's one of those things where the impact, you know, obviously there's a gap underneath the pants and between the pads and the knee pads, you know, that if you come in at such a force, it can get underneath the pants, and I think that's what happened here, where, you know, while he's certainly well equipped and well protected, you know, it's just one of those freak incidences, you know, where it found the gap, and obviously the blade forced its way through.
How many layers would you kind of guess it kind of went through?
Yeah, well, I would say, you know, certainly at least 3. You know, at least 3 layers of equipment and protection and undergarments. So you can, you know, certainly tell by that how significant the force was for sure.
I was told there's goalies wear like it's like a spandex with padding. Was that something Tucker was wearing?
Yeah. So he had that on. You know, and again, our equipment staff is fantastic. So he was certainly well equipped to the nines. You know, with everything, and you know, certainly from our end, we did everything, obviously equipment-wise, to avoid injury. You know, it's just one of those instances where, you know, unfortunately, it couldn't be avoided last night.
Did the doctors make any comment as to the immediate on-ice attention he received here?
Yes, so certainly, you know, their exact wording to me was that the work of the on-ice staff and everyone in-house saved his life. So it was really, there was a point in time last night where it was an option that he may have died on the ice due to loss of blood. You know, so certainly on that end, you know, the work of our head athletic therapist, Chris Trivieri, Nick Hornby, Nick Tambury, Doug Stacey, London's trainer, the entire London Knights organization, Quincy Evans, Pat Myers, the refs, Conrad Hache, you know, the Billet family, you know, the IceDogs organization, Dave Branch, the league. Everybody worked in concert, you know, last night and really handled it extremely admirably, and I am, you know, dead set that the work of everyone together genuinely did save this young man's life, you know, and that is obviously by far the most important thing. You know, my hat goes off to everybody involved, you know, true professionals, and certainly could not have been handled better.
That's roughly about, what, 20 personnel?
Yeah, you know, to a degree, you know, give or take.
Making that phone call to his parents, who handled that, and how did you keep them informed over the length of time it took them to get here from Illinois?
Yeah, so that was myself. You know, I phoned Ruth Tucker's mom, and she was obviously watching on TV and was quite distraught. You know, so we just, you know, tried to calm her down and, you know, really tried to walk through that, you know, he was cognizant and in the ambulance and responsive, you know, and he actually was relatively calm himself. You know, so just trying to keep her updated every step of the way. Our assistant GM, Brandon Curry, did a great job setting up a flight for her from Chicago. Picked her up at 12:30 last night, brought her right to the hospital. You know, we kept her in the loop every step of the way. You know, and again, I can only imagine, you know, what was going through her mind at the time. And obviously our heart is with the family, you know, last night and today and moving forward.
Is he likely to go home with his mom after he's released from the hospital?
You know, so we'll take it day by day. You know, likely he will probably return home for a short stretch, you know, and then once he's able, we look forward to bringing him back here for treatment and rehab. And, you know, eventually the end game is, you know, get him back. And I know that's what he's looking forward to as well.
I assume you spoke to him today?
Yes, we have, and he's in good spirits today. I know a lot of the guys were able to go over and see him. You know, we were all actually, it's funny, the entire team was with myself and the coaching staff at the hospital last night. You know, because of the circumstances, we weren't able to get in to see him. But today the guys are all over there now, and he's in good spirits and, you know, ready to start the long road back to recovery here.
In the ambulance last night, did Billy go with him, or did somebody from the organization?
Yes, Nick Tambury went with him. Yeah. So Nick went with him and made sure everything was good. And then again, you know, as soon as we, you know, I spoke with Dave Branch from the league, and as soon as we made the decision to postpone the game, then we all got in our cars and drove over to the hospital.
There hasn't been a date set for that?
Not yet, no.